This is the Ohio AgNet from the Voice You Know at the News You Trust studio, sponsored by BASF. Visit with your local ag retailer about 0% financing on all BASF crop protection, seed treatment, and Zetavo brand soybeans now through March 15th. I'm Ty Higgins. Tomorrow, powered by soy biodiesel, heading to the OABA Industry Conference, thanks to the Ohio Agribusiness Association for serving Ohio agriculture. There's a new podcast out at ohioagnet.com, the video version on Facebook and YouTube as well. Just search Ohio AgNet. You'll hear from Zippy Duvall about the policy challenges ahead in 2026, including one that really encompassed 2025 when it came to trade and tariffs, something that he and President Trump have had some pretty deep conversations about.
I'll tell you, it's not very comfortable to sit across the resolute desk with the President of the United States and tell him you don't agree with him, but it was my job to do that. But he took it very well, and his comment exactly this was, my trade tariffs are going to bring people to the table that helps me fix your problems. And my comment to him was, we pray to God that you're right.
One of the developments that happened while we were in Anaheim, the new dietary guidelines. Zippy talks about his thoughts on the changes coming down from the federal government.
It's a little bit of a mixed bag, but most of all, we were very pleased. When we start talking about putting more emphasis on protein and the importance of whole milk, very, very excited about that moving forward. But we're going to continue to work with the administration on the importance of some of the other areas that they have concerns about, like seed oils and sugar, because they do bring some benefits to our nutrition and to our diet. So we'll continue to work on them to try to highlight that, so all across the board that agriculture can get something positive. But overall, we were very pleased.
Mr. Duvall was also asked if agriculture's at a breaking point amidst all the challenges the industry is currently facing.
We lost 160,000 farmers since 2017. And it has not done anything but get worse. So my observation can tell me nothing other than it's going to get worse, and we're going to see more and more people either leave the business, sell out and put their land into development or other uses that land won't ever come back to agriculture. And we're talking about the security of our nation, being able to feed ourselves. I think we're at a critical stage that people have to understand that whatever we do, whether it's really good trade treaties, whether it's more domestic use, whatever that might be, we got to find a way to secure agriculture for the future. And I want to be, farmers don't want a check in the mail from the federal government. We want markets. We want to grow for the market. And we want the system to work. And we have frameworks all over that we've been told about from all over the country about trade frameworks. We need to finish those frameworks up and make sure that they have rules and regulations in them that we can enforce them in a timely manner.
That's Zippy Duvall, president of American Farm Bureau. Just some of the comments you'll hear on the new Ohio AgNet podcast, powered by Ohio Corn and Wheat. You'll also hear from Scott Higgins from the Ohio Dairy Producers Association, talking about getting whole milk in schools nationwide. And Ohio State's Garth Ruff gives us a preview of some beef meetings coming up across the state over the next several weeks. The podcast can be found at ohioagnet.com, the video version on our Facebook and YouTube channels. Just search Ohio AgNet Podcast. Time for the forecast, brought to you by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance, online at seedconsultants.com. Here's Ryan Martin.
In the wake of the strong storm complex that moved through over the weekend, we are mostly precipitation free this week. Now, we do have some lake effect that may try and kick up here today into this afternoon, but that's going to be very limited in scope. Most of the state falls under Arctic high pressure, which keeps us precipitation free. Got a little more lake effect that tries to pop up Tuesday night into early Wednesday, and then a clipper coming Wednesday night into Thursday. So on again, off again snow at midweek, but very minor potential for accumulation, if anything at all. The cold air wants to hold through the end of the week and weekend as well. Another round of Arctic high pressure sits right on top of us. Next week also seeing some significant warming to the west, but not necessarily getting into this area. I think we are not as cold next week as this week, but I'm holding off on a full temperature moderation push yet. I'm Ryan Martin.
Ryan, thank you. Foreign entities owning U.S. farmland has been a hot topic for the past several years, but there's going to be a new way to gauge exactly who owns what, as Joel Norwood tells us.
The U.S. Department of Agriculture tells us they're rolling out a new online portal that's looking to improve transparency around foreign ownership of U.S. farmland. That's an issue, of course, closely watched by farmers here in the Buckeye State and across the Midwest. The portal streamlines reporting required under the Agricultural Foreign Investment Disclosure Act, which tracks land transactions involving foreign individuals, businesses, or governments. USDA says the move strengthens enforcement and helps protect American farmland as part of its National Farm Security Action Plan. USDA also released its latest annual report to Congress on that, showing foreign entities held about 46 million acres of U.S. agricultural land by the end of 2024. While that represents a small share of total farmland, it did include holdings tied to countries such as China, Russia, Iran, and North Korea. The new portal allows electronic filing of required disclosures if needed. You can find out more information at fsa.usda.gov. For the Ohio AgNet, I'm Joel Norwood.
Thank you, Joel. If agriculture is your way of life, you need news you can count on. That's why Ohio's farmers turn to Ohio's Country Journal, your source for the latest in crop updates, livestock insights, market trends, and the stories that celebrate country life across our state. Every issue keeps you informed, connected, and ready for what's next in Ohio agriculture. So don't miss a beat. Renew your subscription or sign up today at ocj.com/renew and grow with the publication built for Ohio farm families. That's ocj.com/renew. The Ohio AgNet continues after this.
It's time for the Morton Buildings Building Value Days sales event running now through the end of February. Morton Buildings are built stronger, last longer, and look better. So if you're planning for a garage, farm shop, stall barn, a storage building for your RV, boat, or collectibles, or anything in between, act now. Our buildings are built to last, but these savings won't. Visit mortonbuildings.com or contact your local Morton office to take advantage of current savings on new buildings. Certain restrictions may apply. Offer valid only on select new building orders placed between January 5th and February 28th, 2026.
Hey pork producers, the 2026 Ohio Pork Congress is almost here. It all happens in Lima, Ohio on February 3rd and 4th at the Veterans Memorial Convention Center. You'll get the latest on swine health, facility management, economics, product innovation, and more. And don't forget about the expanded Spanish language breakout sessions. All this with over 60 trade show exhibitors to visit. So go to ohioporkcongress.org today to get more information and early registration discounts. We'll see you in Lima.
Welcome back to the Ohio AgNet. I'm Ty Higgins. If you're in the sheep business, today's featured audio is for you as it's all about sheep. Here's Dusty Sonnenberg.
Joining me today is John Yost. John is the OSU Extension Ag Educator in Wayne County. And John, thanks so much for your time. We want to talk sheep today. A lot of sheep programming going on in the winter months and a neat series that you guys have called All About Sheep. 2 sessions in February and 2 in March. Take us through the calendar, when those are, and what the topics are that you'll cover.
So the very first session is going to be on February 3rd. And for each session of this 4-part series, it's going to go from 7 to 8 p.m. There'll be the presentation or 2 some nights, then an opportunity for Q&A chat room where you can propose your questions, and then the presenters can try to answer those live that evening, or we'll be collecting your contact information. So there may be some behind the scenes kind of after the fact follow up with some of those questions. But again, the first session is February 3rd, begins at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, in case we do have some that are outside of the state. Our first presenter that evening is Dr. Brady Campbell, who is Ohio State's sheep specialist. The title of his presentation is going to be the management continuum, calendar-based management of sheep, and he's going to go through a typical year in the management of sheep. What happens in October, November, each month, going to kind of go through and point out in a typical management situation, these are the normal activities that you would expect to be doing. So be laying that out over the course of the year, talking about, just the maintenance of animals, breeding, gestation, a little bit on nutrition, some health management, just some of the basic steps that overall this program is for for that novice producer, regardless of what they intend to be raising sheep for to get themselves going. The second night is February 17th, again at 7 o'clock, and we've entitled it Feed My Sheep. It's a Nutrition 101. So I'll be covering part of that program where we do the basics of, how to read a forage test. They've sent a hay sample off and had it analyzed. How do you interpret those results when you get them back? Talk about reading a feed tag on a bag of grain that may be getting, and then also talk about some of the different feed stuffs, how they fit into a diet. So what does corn do? What does soybean meal do? Brewer's grains, cottonseed meal, just some broad range, not getting too specific, but more classes of feed. And then one of our extension specialists, Jacob Copeland, he's going to talk about actually formulating a diet for your animals there at home that you can do. And then we roll into March 3rd. We're going to talk about kind of setting your goals and then marketing accordingly. So why do you have sheep? What do you want to do with them? And then how do you manage and maybe market those if you are intending to sell those? Talk about culling decisions. When is it a time to get these out of the flock? Depending on what your management situation is. And then the final night, we have Dr. Nikki Jolliffe. She is a veterinarian. She's going to be talking about flock health. And this is going to be, again, on that base level of how do you know if your animal is sick? When do you need to be concerned? What is the basis of a flock health program? Those things that every producer should be able to know.
If folks are interested in signing up, how do they go about getting more information or getting registered?
So we have, again, the informational flyer and all of the registration material can be found at go.osu.edu and then / all about sheep 26.
My guest again today is John Yost with OSU Extension out of Wayne County. John, thanks so much for your time. Best of luck with the program.
Thanks for the opportunity, Dusty. Appreciate it.
Yes, thank you, Dusty. We'll have the markets and analysis coming up next as the Ohio AgNet rolls on.
Attention construction pros. Purple Wave Auction brings quality equipment to your fingertips. Join our bi-weekly online auctions featuring dozers, excavators, loaders, and more. We provide detailed listings, photos, and seller contact info. Inspect online or in person. With our no reserve policy, every item sells to the highest bidder. Visit purplewave.com today and see why informed builders choose Purple Wave. Transparent processes, real deals. Your next great purchase awaits. purplewave.com.
Did you know veterinarians touch our lives each day, whether we own a pet or not? From safeguarding against diseases to making sure our food supply is safe, to treating the family pet or the farm's food production animals, veterinarians are on the front lines. I'm Dr. Kevin Fitzgerald from Animal Planet's eVet Interns. Veterinary medicine is more than you think. Learn more at avma.org. A public service message from the American Veterinary Medical Association and this station.
This is the Ohio AgNet. Today's market analysis brought to you by the Louis Dreyfus Company. Excited to be building the newest state-of-the-art soybean crush facility in Upper Sandusky. Call 574-566-2113 for information on soybean marketing to LDC. Here's Ryan Martin.
Grain markets finished on an up note on Friday. It was mostly due to two things. First, absolutely massive weekly export sales report numbers, and we knew they were friendly, but when you dig in a little bit farther, they were quite friendly. And then the upcoming harsh weather that was coming across the middle of the country. Now, the harsh weather is behind us after some significant snows moved through the Ohio, Tennessee valleys, the eastern Corn Belt. We're going to be digging out from that here across Ohio through a large part of this week, but should be looking at a week that doesn't have a lot of precipitation. It will be well below normal on temperatures, though, all week long and through the weekend. Now, to that weekly export sales report for the week ending January 15th, importers and end users used the break following the January USDA report to strongly add to their forward coverage. 22.7 million bushels of wheat, 157.9 million bushels of corn, nearly 90 million bushels of soybeans. I'm Ryan Martin.
A check of overnight markets on the Ohio AgNet brought to you by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance online at seedconsultants.com. Corn for March, a half penny to the good at $4.31 a bushel. May, $4.38.5, picking up a half cent as well. Soybeans for March up 5 3/4 overnight at $10.73.5. May, $10.84 3/4, up by 5 3/4. July wheat up 2.5 at $5.53.5. September, $5.67.5, picking up 2.5 points overnight. After Friday's trade on the livestock side of things, February live cattle, $234.90 up $2.52. April, $2.10 higher at $236.92. Feeder cattle for March, 90 cents to the good at $360.17. April, $358.75 up 80 points. Lean hogs for February down 12 cents at $88.35. April, $96.17 and off by 17 points. Get more of today's farm news, markets, and weather right now at ohioagnet.com. I'm Ty Higgins. We'll see you down the road.